Welcome to a quick primer on Tribes2. Tribes2 is a fast-paced shooter from the early 2000s. What set it apart at the time was its relatively large-scale matches on huge maps with up to 64 players per team. Game modes range from classic capture the flag and death matches to siege-style defend and hold, player bounty, and rabbit matches. This video will be broken up into 8 sections: controls, armor types, weapon types, pack types, accessories and consumables, structures, vehicles, and map layout. Controls. One of the first things to tackle when you load up the game for the first time will be setting up controls. You will default into an ESDF control scheme, which may feel a bit foreign to most players. It is easy enough to swap over to a WASD layout in the settings menu. Some additional changes I like to make to controls are moving some controls closer to WASD for ease of use, like health pack, cycle zoom level, place mine, throw grenade, and use pack. Setting health pack to Q, cycle zoom to R, place mine to Z, throw grenade to F, and use pack to G. I additionally will set free look and external view to easier to press buttons. Free look going to left control, external view going to tab. Another important setting is configuring your mouse. I find that the default sensitivity is a bit too high. Let's lower it to about 0.2. So now that we are set up, let's discuss some control basics. Movement is WASD, mouse, and space to jump. The game also gives you a jetpack which you can use to fly. Engage the jetpack with right click and watch as you lift off. Jumping first will help overcome some of that initial inertia and let you conserve energy. Energy is a resource used by your jetpack, but also other things like some weapons and various other packs. When you land on the ground, you can keep some of your inertia and bounce along by holding spacebar. This is called skiing. This will not work if you're hitting the ground at too steep an angle, in which case you might just take fall damage and maybe die. Skiing will help keep you moving quickly, but will make it harder to change directions. It's a good technique to use while flag running. 2 other random things I like to call out while learning controls is the control circuit, C, and targeting laser, L. The control circuit will bring up a map view and also show all the friendly icons on the map. You can see turrets, cameras, sensors, and other players, even enemy players if they are within your sensor range. The targeting laser will place a targetable spot that other players can use as guides for firing mortars or grenades, or just a simple HUD icon. Another key aspect of game controls is your inventory loadout. This is how you select what armor type, weapons, packs, and other accessories you will have when you get equipped at an inventory station. The default keybind for inventory is number pad enter. If your keyboard doesn't have a numpad, change this in the control settings. From this menu, you can set up to 20 different loadouts as favorites. There are 20 preset loadouts, but updating and renaming these is easy. Setting which loadout you want to use is done via numpad 0 through 9 or alt numpad 0 through 9 to access all 20 of these favorites. Once a loadout is set, visiting an inventory station will heal you and update your loadout. You can also quickly modify your current loadout's pack by using Control plus numpad 0 through 9 if you want to change up your pack without saving a whole different loadout. Armor types. Now that we're in the loadout screen, it's a perfect time to talk about armor types. Tribes2 has 3 armor types: light, medium, and heavy, or as they're called in game, Scout, Assault, and Juggernaut. Scout is more maneuverable and quick, but can't hold as much gear and is easier to kill. Juggernaut has plenty of weapon and gear slots, has access to heavier dutier weapons, carries more ammo per weapon and is harder to kill, but is slow and can't pilot vehicles. Assault lands somewhere in between. Weapon types. Speaking of weapons, let's do a quick run through. Blaster, the most basic weapon, has no ammo limit as it is powered by energy, but it does not hit very hard at all. Plasma rifle, a heavy hitting gun that can deliver some quick damage, but has a pretty slow projectile speed. Good against structures and slow moving targets though. Chain gun, a relatively low damage per second weapon with a pretty wide spread at range, but great for hitting quick targets in the air when precision and accuracy is tough. Spin fuser, this is the quintessential Tribes weapon. A slow projectile, not as slow as the plasma rifle, but has a good amount of splash damage if you miss. Grenade launcher, a high splash damage, bounceable around corners and from behind cover weapon. This is tougher to aim, but great in the right situation. Laser rifle, usable only by the scout class with an energy pack equipped. This is the sniper rifle of the game. It depletes your energy when fired, and will do damage proportional to the amount of energy expended. Headshots with full energy will one-shot a scout class. Electronic flux projector, or ELF projector. A short to medium range click and hold type laser beam that will attach to a target and slowly damage them. Shock lance. This is the melee weapon that uses energy much like the laser rifle, but can put out even more damage. The only downside being that you need to be right next to your target. Missile launcher. Only available to medium and heavy armor classes. This is a lock-on style weapon that will let you fire homing missiles after a brief lock-on period. Keep your cursor over the target till you get a lock, and then fire. Targets can be vehicles or other players at medium range, or even at longer ranges if they are picked up by your team's sensors. Fusion mortar. Only available to the heavy Juggernaut armor class. This is the grenade launcher on steroids. Not as bouncy as grenades, but will output serious damage in a wide radius. If you're being provided a target via a targeting laser, your HUD will show an offset target where you can fire to get the correct arc to hit your final target. Pack types. There are many different packs to fit many different use cases. Some packs provide static buffs, like the energy pack. Some packs toggle on and off with the use pack key. Other packs, like the repair pack, will swap over to them like a weapon with the use pack key. Others will deploy with the use pack key, leaving you packless afterwards, like the deployable inventory station or turrets. Shield pack. When toggled on, damage is dealt to energy reserves before health. Ammo pack. Equipping this will double all ammo counts of the current loadout. Energy pack. The standard energy pack is the most versatile, increasing maneuverability regardless of armor class. This will simply boost your energy regeneration rate. Repair pack. This useful pack will allow you to target structures, players, or even yourself with the red beam of healing when fired. At the cost of energy, it will slowly repair damage when used. There will typically be a repair pack freestanding on the ground in most bases as a last resort when a base's generators are destroyed and you can't get one from equipping a loadout due to a lack of power. Sensor jammer pack. This pack will constantly passively jam sensors of the enemy team within the jammer's 50-meter radius, making the player not have a friend or foe tag and preventing turrets from firing. Very useful for players running the flag or in the tail gunner seat to protect their vehicle. It will also disable enemy cloaking via cloak packs. When activated, it will disable all sensor equipment for the enemy team within 50 meters. A great tool for helping your teammates go undetected. Cloak pack. When activated, the cloak pack makes the user invisible, both visually and to sensor networks. The cloaked user can still fire and jet, causing them to briefly be semi-visible. This pack consumes energy very quickly, only enabling the player to use it for short durations before recharging. The satchel charge. This deployable pack, when placed, will throw out a short distance and begin to arm. Once the arming sound completes, and the pack button is pressed again, the charge will detonate after a short series of beeps. The blast radius and damage of the satchel charge is the highest in the game. These can be used as great tools for quickly taking out enemy targets, or as a stationary defense piece on a flag, ready to be detonated as the player approaches. Inventory station. This is a small portable inventory station that operates similar to the permanent inventory stations, but does not let you change your armor class. They cannot be carried by scouts, and you cannot pilot while carrying them. Pulse sensor and motion sensors. These packs, when deployed, help extend the sensor range of the sensor network for a team. The motion sensor is usually used to detect cloaked and passively jammed players, but at a shorter range. Deployable turrets. Spider clamp and land spike turrets are two types of deployable turrets that are used for on structures or in natural terrain respectively, but these turrets cannot be spam deployed as they have a minimum deploy distance from other turrets. Barrels. These packs, when used on a large turret, will change the weapon type of the targeted turret. The type of barrels are plasma, mortar, ELF, AA, and missile. All pretty self-explanatory to the weapon type, but AA being a faster firing missile that only targets vehicles or jetting players above a certain height. Missile only targeting ground vehicles and jetting players. Both of these missile turrets can be controlled via the command circuit as well to be dumbfired. Accessories and consumables. Beyond packs and weapons, there are repair kits, grenades, mines, and beacons. There are multiple types of grenade options to choose from in your loadout. Each will load up with 5 grenades. Grenade. The default grenade will have a fairly decent splash damage radius and is especially useful indoors. Concussion grenade. Won't deal damage but will knock back players and make them drop their weapons or packs. Whiteout grenade. This will temporarily disrupt player vision and hearing if facing the explosion. Flare grenade. This grenade deals no damage, but it causes missiles to lose their lock and target the flare instead. Useful for any class, but also for defending vehicles. Deployable camera. The last grenade slot is a deployable camera item. When deployed, these allow the player to view them through the command circuit. They also provide nearby turrets faster firing rates, also reveals enemies using sensor jammer packs. Mines. Mines can be carried by all classes and are very useful for defense or offense, depending on the player's style. Once deployed, they have a brief arming period, but then are hostile to both friendly and enemy players. Beacons. Beacons mark a location with a destructible nav point. This will appear in the player's HUD similar to a targeting laser. Repair kits. When you spawn or after refreshing your loadout at an inventory station, you'll have one repair pack. This can be used to repair a small amount of health in a pinch. Sometimes these can be found on the ground in the map as well. Structures. Mentioned through the rest of the primer, there are some essential structures in the game to be aware of. Most are destroyable, so interrupting their use is a key consideration of the enemy team. Inventory stations. These are where you equip your selected loadout and heal/refill ammo. Vehicle stations. These are where you can purchase a vehicle. Once selected, you can cancel out of the dialogue and leave the terminal to be less vulnerable. You will be transported to the ship's cockpit once it spawns. Turrets. These are critical base defenses, and some can be modified to fire different projectiles. These range from interior sentry turrets to massive base turrets. Sensors. These massive structures will enable you to identify friends from foes at a distance, and will enable your automated defenses to fire. Generators. If these are destroyed, the attached base's structures and force fields will not function. Keep these repaired. Flag stands. This is where your team flag will spawn. Keep this defended. Vehicles. There are 6 different vehicles in Tribes 2, 3 ground and 3 air, though not all are available on each map. Grav Cycle. A light one-person weaponless vehicle that hovers just above the ground. Extremely fast and difficult to pilot, but ideal for flag capturing or quick strike assaults. Some players use these for running over enemies on the ground. Assault Tank. A heavily shielded hover tank. Although the tank is shielded, it is vulnerable against missiles. One player pilots the vehicle while the second can man the turret. The turret mounted on this tank fires a powerful fusion mortar, which explodes on contact with a large explosive radius, dealing more damage and traveling further than the handheld version. A Vulcan chain gun is also mounted on, which is again more powerful than its handheld version. Jericho Mobile Point Base. This is an extremely slow-moving but well-shielded ground vehicle. It is the only wheeled vehicle in the game. Additionally, it can jam enemy sensors within a limited radius to prevent discovery, as well as prevent enemy sensor jammers and cloak packs from functioning. When deployed, it contains a full inventory station and a stationary turret on top. Shrike Scout Fighter. Fast and packing considerable punch, this one-person vehicle is armed with dual energy blasters. These are powered from the craft's energy banks, and so when there is no energy, they cannot fire. Energy is used for thrust and firing, and is depleted by incoming fire. You can fly at high altitudes to avoid enemy fire or flag captures. An onboard sensor system extends the team's sensor net significantly around the strike and can easily detect incoming hostiles. Thundersword Bomber. Manned by a pilot, a bombardier, and a tail gunner, the bombardier can switch between firing energy turret and dropping powerful fusion warheads. The turret is difficult to aim in a maneuvering bomber, and a highly skilled pilot is essential if anything to be hit. The onboard targeting laser, unlike its related handheld version, not only targets things, but its target spot lingers as an invisible beacon. The tail gunner is essential for defending the vehicle against enemy turrets, missiles, and strikes. The tail gunner typically carries a sensor jamming pack to prevent turrets from picking up the bomber, a repair pack for in-flight fixes, or an ammo pack for carrying more flares. Havoc Gunship Transport. This slow-moving ship has no weapons, but the 4 passengers and 1 tail gunner can use their own weapons while riding. Even heavy armored players can be ferried in this craft. Map Layout. Most maps of Capture the Flag will have 2 primary bases, sometimes some small outposts or forward structures. Bases will consist of flag rooms, generator rooms, inventory stations, etc. It really varies map to map. These maps are large, and if you get lost, you can always suicide with Control-K, or check the control circuit map with C. The edge of the map or out-of-bounds border will be visible via a grid in the sky, but you can go out of bounds if you need to sneak around the back of an enemy base. Thanks for watching.